media companies, can you hear me? I know you guys can hear, but then just some of these guys that is not in the building. Mr. Masina, welcome tonight. We've met, we've spoken on the telephone, ENCA. Welcome to this press briefing. Anybody else that is current out there, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me. Now, it is important for me, just as an introductory remark, that since we received this report from the public protector last Friday afternoon, my telephone didn't stop ringing from members of the media that wants to ask certain questions and want to get certain information. And at this stage, I was quite clear that I didn't read the report yet because I didn't receive it officially in my office. And I first need to discuss it with the municipal manager as well as other, for us to make an official response to the public protector's report. So sitting next to me and being part of the discussion would be the municipal manager, acting municipal manager, Mr. David Duenes, as well as our legal manager, Ms. Melanie Paulson. Just think I should read now the official statement that's coming from my office on the public report, protector's report on national tourism. I confirm that the municipality had received a report from the public protector regarding the complaint received in 2017. We know the contents of the report, however, we had already taken the relevant legal and appropriate steps to solve this matter in 2017. And questions to Melanie on that regard probably will ask later. The report addresses a complaint lodged by Ms. S. Campbell on the 3rd of July 2017 relating to the procurement of services from the then National Tourism. At the time, the municipality consulted with legal advisories regarding this matter. National Tourism received funding through a grant and aid fund between 2002 and 2017. And taking the advice of our legal counsel, we changed the procurement process since 2017, adhering to all applicable provisions of the relevant legislation. We then entered into a service level agreement, an SLA, with Westgroup after 2017. Now, at the time of the agreement, the municipality did have the internal capacity to manage the tourism function in council and resolved that it should be outsourced. With its extensive expertise in tourism industry and as the drivers behind the successful Nice Oyster Festival, entering into an SLA with the National Tourism was the best option at the time. The municipal manager, director of finance, and the duly elected councillor served as members of the National Tourism Board throughout the period of the SLA. I must emphasize, no party or individual had benefited illegally during the process of procuring services from National Tourism. I maintain that no wasteful or fruitless expenditure occurred, and funds was expressed for the marketing and the development of tourism in the Greater National area. National Tourism was contracted for 15 years, and the funding was never questioned by the Auditor General, and we received unqualified audit report during that specific time. Yes, 58 million rand was paid to National Tourism for services from 2002 to 2017. This equates to a 4 million per year as specified by the SLA. So we pay them over that 15 years, 58 million. And as the SLA stipulated, it was about 4 million rand. It was 4 million rand a year. Every rand that we gave National Tourism was utilized in the marketing of the Greater National area as a preferred tourism destination and developing and supporting the industry. The industry that undoubtedly carries the area's local economy. National Tourism submitted regular expenditure reports that illustrated how these funds were used in promoting the area, its industry, members and events, and developing emerging touring products. Now, as we approach the local government elections of the 1st of November, Knysna Council is in recess. The report, its findings, and the remedial instructions will be tabled to the newly elected council, and all required procedures be followed. Our supply chain management staff received additional training, and we are proud of our dedication to following transparent and proper procurement processes. Tourism has been a long driving force for our local economy, as well as being our biggest local employer, second only to the municipality. We will always be dedicated to supporting and developing this industry within the legal parameters. That is why we ultimately entered the SLA with National Tourism and why we have entrusted this function to Westgrow. In closing, thanks for those individuals and organizations who endeavored to work with the municipality in building a stronger, united Knysna. We must work together today and ensure a better tomorrow for all. Thank you. So now,
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll deal with those issues. We'll first deal with the tourism matter. On Teams, you should be able to raise your hand. There's an icon where you can raise your hand so that I can see who would like to ask a question. If you can raise your hand, if you have any questions on the Mayor's report on the tourism or the Public Protector's report and the Mayor's response to that. Also, we will not entertain duplicate questions because that's just a waste of time. So if somebody has asked the question before, I'll appreciate if nobody repeats that question. So I'll start with the members in the House. Blake, Bomber, Ronald from the ENCA. Do you have a question on the tourism matter? They don't have, yeah.
The audio has gone off, Christopher. The audio.
Through the National Council of Government. What steps did the municipality take to try and address the situation?
Not Blake.
Thank you for the question. I think I need to divide since 2017 we've changed a lot in the
It's inaudible, guys.
Be able to elaborate on that, but you're quite correct. This process coming for a long time, and I think some of the concerns for me is basically when you as a council receive certain advice and need to take decisions, and even when you find out within the Auditor General's report, there's no mention about it. So you need to understand, and I'm now in the position of the executive mayor, took over 1 year and 4 months ago, and I need to deal with these things. But I believe that in council decision, it was always them in their mind to be able to provide that type of services to the benefit of the greater Knysna, because tourism is our main economic function. So I believe the action that we took at that stage was based on the information that we've acquired, either through our legal department and I don't want to elaborate too much on the legal advice which was provided. I think it was Mayor. Anything that you want to add on that? Sorry.
No, Mayor, I think that you've that you covered the question appropriately. I just want to say that in 2015, at one point in time, I think it was in 2016, that this council appeared before the NCOP with regards to complaints, which we adhered to. And that was part of our process of compliance with regards to this matter.
Nazizi Pihu, you can ask your question.
Can't hear you.
Nazizi Pihu, do you still want to ask a question? Chris, do you have a question?
Yeah, me. Yeah, I do. Can I ask?
Yes, please go. Yes.
No, I'd just like to know that in May 2017, the Cliff Decker, the attorneys, advised the municipality that this should go out on a tender. But then why did the KM go into another agreement without the tender?
I'm going to ask Melanie just to respond to that.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chris. You would recall, and it's highlighted in the report of the Public Protector as well, that the agreement concluded in July of 2017 by Mr. Cam Chetty, the then municipal manager, was in terms of a deviation process, which is catered for in the legislation. And the municipal manager at the time believed that he was entitled to, and that he met with the legislative, or he complied with the legislative prescripts and criteria for such deviation. So that, yes, a procurement process was not followed, but the reasons that the then municipal manager put forth was that it was an emergency. And the Oyster Festival needed to proceed in order for Knysna to begin its recovery post the 7 July fires. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Melanie. The Public Protector seems to refute all that, and that and it's sort of define it as not being an emergency, because the definition of the emergency is basically the National Treasury is quoted, defines emergency cases as cases where immediate action is necessary. And then the municipality was aware of the fact that the service level agreement, which had been signed on the 11th July, was to expire on the 30th of June, and could therefore have taken steps to timelessly enter into another agreement with the service provider, but it waited till the expiry date. So, what do you think of that? The Public Protector is not that happy with the explanation.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, we have taken note of their view on the matter, and Mr. Chetty has responded as to his reasons for entering into such agreement, and that he was satisfied at the time as the accounting officer and the decision maker, having applied his mind, that he was entitled to do so.
So
you will note that Mr. Chetty did respond. Yes.
Okay.
Respond.
Thanks.
Chris, are you done?
I'm done. I've been done.
Sorry,
okay.
Mayor. Our Chris has left the. Mayor. So I'm going to take over. Nazi, no, you have a question for the Executive Mayor?
Melanie, I am here. Hello? Hello?
Christopher, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Good. I've moved to a different venue because there was an echo.
Okay.
If Melanie, if you and Nwabisa can just keep an eye on Bomber and Blake and Ronald, I will manage the members on Teams. Nazizi Piu, you can go now if Chris is finished.
I'm okay. I'm done. But you have to look after Blake. He needs looking after. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. Thanks. Nazi Piu. Nazi Piu, can you hear us? Okay, I'm moving on to Sehu. Sehu.
Hello.
Sehu. All right, this is typical of these type of meetings. They say it's a seance. So I'll go ask again. Sehu, are you there? No. Nazizi Piu, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
All right, go with your question. If you can just say where you're from.
My name is Nasis Puobuso. I work for the Herald newspaper, Port Elizabeth.
Thank you. You can go.
My question is with regards to the time-stamped recommendations, remedial action for the PP, and I think they've instructed the speaker to lay criminal charges for the actions that the previous council and officials took. How far is perhaps the administration worth looking with that?
Thank you. Do you want to field that question? Or will the mayor continue?
Be aware, the council is currently in recess, and from the administration side, we're intending to submit the public protector's report to the first constituted new council in order to inform council. And also by then, we will have a newly elected speaker that should implement the remedial actions in the public protector's report. So once the council has been constituted and the public protector in the remedial action also give clear timeframes in terms of the action that needs to be taken. So as far as the municipality and the administration is concerned, we will abide by the remedial action as stated by the public protector.
Do you want to refer to MPAC in the same vein? Because MPAC will also be only elected after the 1st of November, the next council.
Yeah, thank you, Christopher. As I indicated already that we are in recess, but subsequently before we going into recess, the MPAC chairperson resigned as a councillor in the municipality, and that also resulted that we cannot constitute any impact and oversight committee meetings, and that will also be as an agenda item on the first council meeting, that we need to appoint an impact chairperson once council. And the new impact. And a new committee. So the new, after the election, council will obviously constitute itself in terms of all the committees, in terms of all the office bearers, etc., etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Are there any other questions on the tourism matter? Doesn't look like it, Mayor. We will now move on to the other matters. There's a matter of the procurement of water meters, prepaid water meters, and new wheelie bins for businesses and residents. Mr. Mayor, would you speak on the water meters first? We can't hear you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, you're muted.
You can hear me now?
Yes, thanks. Yes, thanks.
Okay. Now, as you quite rightly said, there's a lot of information running around on social media, even on this specific topic on water meters. Now, just want to read the following also as a media release to you. The water meter forensic investigation is
may you start over? You are muted again.
Procurement of water meters is fine. Okay, it's not me. In my discussion, can you hear me now?
Please start over. Yes, that's better. Okay. Please start over. Thank you.
Okay, again, we'll read a media release. In my discussion with Mr. Adonis, he said that the forensic investigation into the procurement of water meters is now at its final stages. The municipality received a complaint from a member of the public, which was considered by
please
council.
Hold on. Mayor? Please hold on.
Yes, sir.
Can Nwabisa please move the computer and the microphone closer to you? You are breaking up. Thank you. Can you start from the top again?
Okay. Thank you. My apologies again there. I think what's important here, after my discussion with Mr. Adonis, he was quite clear and said that the forensic investigation into the procurement of water meters is in its final stage. So basically, there is a forensic investigation into the allocation or to the procurement of prepaid water meters. And the municipality received a complaint from a member of the public, which was considered by the council. The council then referred it to the disciplinary board for further investigation. It was resolved that a forensic expert must be appointed. This recommendation was implemented and an appointment was made in March 2021. Once we have received the final reports, it will be submitted to council. Now, they have said that the complaint was leveled at the provincial government on June 2020, and they are conducting a parallel investigation into the matter. The installation of water meters take place in phases. The current phase roll out during April this year and will see another 2,000 meters installed by the end of the calendar year. Upon completion, 10,000 new units will have been installed throughout all wards of the Greater Knysna municipality area over a 3-year period. Now, approximately 142 meters were found to be defective, and they were replaced by the supplier at no cost to the municipality. So that accusation that the water meters are defective, only 142 was found to be defective, and it were replaced by the supplier at no cost to the municipality. The installation of these sophisticated water management devices is an important management strategy. The meters have numerous advantages. It prevents excessive water service charges by detecting leaks and provide consumers with the power to decide how much a household spent on water in any given month. It also allows us to maintain an accurate bearing on water uses and availability and ensure that the water service are paid for fairly and equally. And what is important of this is the fact that the installation of prepaid water meters is part of our revenue enhancement process. And also to deal, as stated earlier, to deal with all these leakages which we have and the loss of water. That's it. Any questions, Mr. Besaidnout?
Thank you, Mayor. It's now open for questions. Chris du Plessis, you can go with your question. Chris du Plessis, you muted.
Hello, can you
Chris,
hear me
you
now?
can go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You can go with your questions.
All right. Sorry, man. It's the thing that comes up that it was June 2020 that the forensic investigation was ordered, and then it was supposed to be 30 days. We're talking 18 months later now. What happened?
The following.
Hoekom is hulle so
In June
stadig?
Sorry, Chris, can you?
Did you hear me, guys?
No, can you repeat yourself, please?
Okay, sorry, Christopher. No, it's just what stands out here is that in June 2020, the council ordered this investigation, the forensic investigator to, and I think it was 30 days they gave it, right? It's 18 months now. What? Why are you treading water like this? Excuse the pun.
No, listen, good comment to make. I think I've mentioned the June 2020 as part of the provincial government's activities. They are currently conducting a parallel investigation. So that's where I've raised the issue of June 2020. Council appointed in March 2021 a forensic investigation into this. Mr. Adonis, anyone of you?
We're talking, it's 9 months.
Melanie,
it's 9 months.
Sorry, Chris, Melanie here.
Yeah.
You are correct that there was a delay in the appointment of the forensic investigator. The initial council resolution and recommendation from the disciplinary board is that we approach the provincial government to provide us with a forensic expert, and that we did. Province, however, returned to us and indicated that they do not have the human resources to assist with the investigation that the disciplinary board recommended. They then indicated that they are willing to assist the municipality and provide us with funds to appoint our own forensic investigator. Now, at the time when they reverted to the municipality and advised that they cannot assist us, we were in the middle of a procurement process to appoint a panel of internal audit and forensic investigators. And as soon as that process was concluded, we appointed one of the newly appointed panelists to start to conduct that investigation. We have since also received a draft report from them, which has been discussed with the acting municipal manager and the acting CFO. And the forensic investigators were here last week to obtain additional information and to consult with the relevant officials to conclude their investigation into this matter. So you are correct. There has been delays. And the reasons for the delay was that province did not have the capacity. We then had to go to a procurement process to be able to meet the regulatory framework in appointing service providers to the municipality.
Okay,
so those were the
reasons. A bureaucratic quagmire. Okay, I've got one more question. And that's this, 41 million rand. It was written off before the investigator was appointed, or before the investigation had been concluded. That's the thing that's been puzzling us, and it's a ball that's been lobbed to and fro and to and fro. I'm actually quite happy that we have this opportunity to actually, it's a straightforward thing, the investigation hasn't been concluded, but the expenditure has been written off. I can't hear you.
Hi, Chris.
Yes, Christopher.
What, 41 million that has been written off by council?
Yes.
All right, Mayor, can you respond to the write-off of the bad debt?
Yes, I was going to respond to that, but seeing that Emin now just informed me, did you want to say something, Emin?
Thank you, Chris, Mayor. Let me deal with the issue of the written off of historic debt on water. Now, in July 2019, we submitted, or the municipal manager submitted a report to council on the writing off of irrecoverable debt of the 2018-2019 financial year and the 2019-2020 financial year. And that debt has nothing to do with the writing off of any water meter related debt. It was debt written off in terms of council's processes which determined that money was irrecoverable. Now, that is a note in our annual financial statements, in 30 June 2020 annual financial statements, with regards to the debt write-off. And the note reads as follows: bad debts written off relates to historical debt on water services for all households, excluding the councillors and municipal officials. This has been unanimously resolved at a special council meeting dated on the 29th of July 2019. So this debt, and in terms of the notes in the annual financial statements, the note 9 says, as disclosed in note 32 to the financial statements, the municipality wrote off bad debts of 47.531,752 million rand. And that is a normal process that council follows. If there is a determination at any given time that debt cannot be recovered. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, can I just respond quickly? It comes as a surprise to me. I thought there was no historic debt on water. And I thought 11 million and then 41 was directly related to this water meters. Are you saying there's no connection? I mean, in October 2020, the council wrote off irregular expenditure for procurement of meters. It's not the debt of the users or anything. They're two separate things here.
Yes, Chris, it's two totally different matters. The 47 million is bad debt. It's historic debt on water accounts, which the municipality will never be able to recover.
Sorry, Chris, if I could then just assist. The debt you are referring to was the write-offs of the irregular expenditure identified by the Auditor General based on the findings from the AG for various municipalities, not only ours, in relation to piggybacking tenders.
That's correct.
Yes, and that was the one that was considered. You are correct that council has, in terms of it's actually not really writing it off. It's condoning the irregular expenditure because that expenditure has already been incurred, but it does not prevent the municipality from proceeding with a forensic investigation, which it is doing at the moment. It also does not prevent the municipality. In actual fact, the municipality will be obliged to proceed to lay formal criminal charges in terms of Section 173 of the MFMA, should any financial misconduct be identified in this forensic investigation. It also then does not prevent the municipality from, if it has been found that there were irregularities, fraud, and corruption, to recover those amounts from any official that benefited illegally from that, because the Criminal Procedure Act will make sufficient provision for us to collect those monies, to freeze assets, and to forfeit any assets which any official may have enriched him or herself as a result of any irregularity, fraud, or corrupt activities that might come out in the forensic investigation against any official. So it is not as if the municipality has accepted that if there were any fraud or corruption, that has been condoned. No, it's just the irregular expenditure as identified by the Auditor General. And we are still have numerous other avenues available to us if this forensic report finds, as I have stated previously, any irregularities, fraud, or corrupt activities.
Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you. Chris, you must now come to a point. I have another
cool.
member who would like to ask a question.
Go ahead, no problem.
Ms. Buzo, can you ask your question?
My question is in the chat, but I can just read it. Can the mayor say again how many were procured, how many have been installed, how many are yet to be installed, and how many are sitting in the field, and how many are not working properly?
I just want to get all the correct information in front of me because I received a report from our infrastructure. Okay. A total, I hope you can hear me. A total of 7,500 water meters were installed as part of phase 1 of the project. As part of phase 2, but also part of phase 1, additional 10,000 water meters were purchased. These, to my information given to me by the infrastructure department, is approximately 2,800 of those 10,000 water meters have already been installed. And another 2,000 will be installed by the end of the year. Now, add on to that, as I earlier stated, 142 meters have been found to be defective, and they were replaced by the supplier at their cost, not at our cost. A total of 540 water meters has been replaced under phase 1 of the project due to vandalism, tampers to the water meters, being run over by cars and even animals. And for that reason, it has been replaced. So currently, that is the situation. So if you do all the calculations, there's probably in our system still left about plus minus 7,000 water meters that still needs to be installed out of the total of 17,500. And as I stated, 2,000 of those plus minus 7,000 will be installed before the end of this year. The contractor is currently busy installing these water meters. I will answer all your questions on that.
Is that clear, Ms. Busso? Chris, you still have your hand up?
Yeah. Oh,
sorry. Go.
Yeah.
No, you go. Okay, Chris. Chris, you're muted. All right, Chris, go. Chris, you are muted.
It mutes automatically.
We can hear you now.
Okay, all right. So it seems we bought too many meters, more than that you can install in a year, right? Did you buy meters for a couple of years? It sounds like 3 or 4 years, or what? Even 5 years or something.
Mayor?
Sorry.
Chris,
Can you hear
the
me?
mayor said in his statement that the 10,000 will be installed over the next 3-year period, of which 2,800 have already been installed and another 2,000 by the end of this calendar year. So
Okay,
it is over a 3-year period.
Okay, no. Okay, so you just bought in bulk initially. Okay.
Yes.
All right, got it. You know, maths was not my strongest subject, but I got it now.
All right, thanks. Are there any other questions on the water meter matter?
Chris Bomber inside of the chamber and Blake also. So we will go to Bomber first.
Right, can they please use the microphone so that the recording can pick it up?
They will.
The video circulating showing a whole massive heap of water meters lying in the sun. Are those the defective water meters, or are those the water meters waiting to be installed, or which ones are those?
Mr. Duanis, is there the water meters or the covers?
Boma, I must say I didn't have sight of the video that you referred to, but the water meters is stored at our green store in George Rex Drive, and those are the meters that is currently a service provider to install those meters, and they draw from that stock.
The MM was inaudible there. Can he repeat himself?
That was the
Did you hear nothing that I said, Christopher? Should I repeat everything? Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Christopher Mercedes, can you hear me?
MM, just give me a moment. All right, thank you very much. Sorry, MM, I was just checking on Bomber's question. It is just the cover, Bomber. The electronic part is stored elsewhere. So it's just the covers that you have seen in those images.
Thank you.
Blake is next. Thank you. Sorry.
Bomber, when Christopher respond to you hear better than I respond, because I said to Mr. Covers.
I didn't hear it. So.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Melanie. Well, regardless of whether or not it's the covers or the electronic parts, I think that's relevant because that's infrastructure that is currently sitting outside in a field at the water and sanitation facility, as Darby so mentioned on George Rex Drive. Nonetheless, that infrastructure is currently standing out there in wind, rain, sunshine, whatever you name it, may befall it, it is there. And as we very well know, living in this area, steel and metal is not a friend of sea. It rusts very quickly. And even in the images in the video that you can see, there is on those covers already rust befallen on some of those covers. Now, how is it going to be rolled out where those covers need to be replaced because they are rusty, because they have been damaged, or some have potentially been stolen, maybe, who knows? Has there been sufficient checkups done on those covers and on the infrastructure that is lying out in the open at the water and sanitation facility? Thank you.
You want to respond to that?
Emin, would you like
I think
to
what
respond?
is important. No, I'll respond. I'll respond. I think it's important that what you just said, the MM need to look at it and see those specific, because my knowledge is plastic covers. The majority of them, those blue and white, are plastic covers. I'm not quite sure how the plastic can be rusted, but if it's been damaged because it's lying there and it should be stored inside, and that I don't have the information whether it should be stored inside or outside. But if it should be stored inside, then they have to investigate it and find out why it's lying outside and why it's not being stored inside if it's correct that you say it's getting rusted. So the now got instructions for me to find out if it's true that those plastic covers that is lying there should be then stored in a facility and not being left outside. But it's in a secure space, I know.
So
Chris Duplessis?
No, I'm
Christopher, can you just please wait?
How do I take my little hand off? Because it seems like I want to ask questions all the time and I don't.
I will lower your hand for you, Chris.
Thank you, thank you.
Blake?
Yes, so if I stand in correction, if it's a plastic cover, then I apologize for my incorrection there. But then regardless, if there's damage, is that cost going to be of cost to the municipality or of cost to the service provider? Because it's all good and well that the service provider so graciously has replaced the 142 meters that are faulty, but is it going to be a cost to us, or is it going to be cost to the service provider to replace the covers, which have now been lying in the open? Because I can only imagine if in the short period they've been lying there, now they've become damaged, what is going to happen to the thousands that remain lying there over the 2-3 year financial period that the municipality plans to roll this out? Thank you.
Thanks. I think the answer there is quite simple. If the supplier, in this case, who's supplying us these water meters, is allowing the municipality to leave this plastic cover outside, knowing that it's going to cause damage, and then they will replace the damaged part which they are happy with lying outside, that supplier needs to be looked at. But I think, as I said earlier, I'm going to ask the to have a look at it, discuss it with the direct infrastructure, and find out whether those covers that you see, because I can see them on my way to Leisure Isle on the left-hand side. It's lying there. And if those being damaged because of that, and the supplier, for example, didn't even inform us should be inside the building, then there's something wrong the way that we operate. And that's why I'm serious in saying that the should have look at it and come back and even respond to you guys and what's happening there. And
thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's correct that Chris, can you give that we do an investigation if there is rust on whatever parts of the meters. And I think in terms of council strategy, when we started with this project, we identified that there's 11,000 households that don't have meters, and based on that project was initiated. But as a process, and if there is damage, I am of the view the mayor instructed that we look into that and make sure that it is stored in a fashion that prevent any damage in terms of weather and sun and wind. Thank you.
Thank you, MM. Any other questions in chambers, Melanie? All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, Chris. Sorry,
all right, Boma, you go.
On the same video we're talking about, they also brought up the subject of the wheelie bins. Can you just talk us through that, how that is going, that project is going, the rollout? Geez, there's a good pun. The rollout of the wheelie bins. If you could just...
Which video are you talking about?
There's a video going around, it's on social media, talking about the water meters and the wheelie bins.
You know who gave that video? Because I didn't see that video. I'm not that good on social media.
Okay, it's a Kim Nice independent movement. I think they put the video out there.
So it's a political party that put the video out?
Yes,
okay.
I suppose they were the original initiators, but it talks to what we spoke earlier, the water meters outside, and it also talks about the wheelie bins suggesting that things aren't going well on that particular process. So we just want to hear if it is going all right, if it's all the procurement and everything on that is going according to plan, according to the time frame.
Chris, I just want to respond to one issue raised here by Boma. If a political party put out videos there for their own political marketing, then I will have to respond political to that. But if a member of the public raise a concern about anything pertaining to municipality, then we will respond as a municipality. I don't want to respond to political parties that is using certain issues for political marketing of their party, because then I have to respond political to that. But Mr. Adonis, do you want to respond to that, Wheelie? Because I was going to raise the Wheelie issue, but not based on what a political party is trying to convey.
I think one of the items that is part of this press briefing is the issue around wheelie bins. I just need to establish if the issue around the water meters has been now adequately addressed.
No one have any other questions?
Yeah, we can now move on to the wheelie bin matter.
Thank you, Christopher. The wheelie bin rollout within the Greater Knysna municipal area, as per the implementation plan, the rollout of the bin started in March 2020, based on the critical list that were provided by our finance department. Now, the number of wheelie bins for business was 10,000 wheelie bins.
You are breaking up.
Bins procured for. Chris, can you hear me now better?
No, can you just go back a minute?
We seem to be breaking up only for you, Christopher, but we will indulge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let me start in terms of the rollout of the wheelie bins within the Greater Knysna municipal area. As per our implementation plan, the rollout of the bin started in March 2020 based on a critical list that were provided by the finance department. The number of bins procured for businesses was 10,000 bins, and the number of bins procured for residential areas was 20,000 bins. Now, these bins were financed over a 3-year finance lease agreement. In 2019-2020, the budget for these bins was 2.8 million rand. 2020-21, 4.8 million rand. 2021-22, 4.8 million rand, which gives us a total of 12.4 million rand. Now, the average bin distribution to date is that the residential areas, there's 50% bins that has been rolled out, and the businesses, we've captured 30% and moving towards the 50% on that. Now, the COVID pandemic played a major role in the distribution of the bins in terms of the availability of municipal staff to distribute bins at different alert levels, also placed restrictions on certain activities that could be performed. Level 5 placed a total lockdown on the country. And in terms of our alert level 5 on the 27th of March, alert level 4 on the 1st of May, alert level 3 on the 1st of June, 22nd of June, 23rd of July, and alert level 2 on the 18th of August, the distribution process were hugely affected by the lockdown. Now the areas completed are the Sedgefield Central area, the Smutsville area, and the Island area, the Karatara area, Renendal area, and the Brenton on Lake area, the entire northern area, wards 3, 4, 7, and 8. We started now in the Pazula, Eastern Island, and certain complexes and Bodycock. The distribution of bins at the businesses is not a straightforward process, since most of the premises is being rented and the tenants is not responsible for the account. Therefore, we are facing with a few challenges there in terms of the rollout of these bins. Some of the challenges that we encountered throughout the process was the capturing of the data, and the bin lifters on the waste compactors also needs to be replaced to accommodate these bins. We had as I indicated earlier, the distribution of these bins were halted by the alert levels and the lockdown. We are confident, and we have a meeting tomorrow with the service provider of these bins. And with their presentation, they indicated to us that they will buy back some of the old bins. And we are having a meeting tomorrow on instruction of the mayor that we need to expedite the buying back of these bins in order for us to alleviate this impression or perception that it is wasteful, that's standing now in storage. There is also some of the old bins, based on their life cycle, has been replaced by these new bins, because these bins have around about a life cycle of 8 years, and some of those bins are now getting at the end of their life cycle. And based on our rollout process, we've pulled in some of the old bins and store it at a storage facility in order for this service provider to buy back those bins and give the municipality a credit. Thank you very much.
Yes, Christopher, inside the chamber, Blake just has a question. I see virtually there is also a hand up. Blake?
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you, I just want to further the question there, where you mentioned that some of the storage includes both old and new bins alike, but so is that at Wheelie Park as well? So where some of them are out in the open again as well?
The Wheelie Park storage is all new bins, and irrespective of standing in the open, it's plastic bins. So they, in any case, stand in the open where they are used at the households. So that shouldn't be a effect on the bin standing in the open, because it's plastic bins.
I think he asked a question about are those all old or new bins?
No, I've answered that. That's all new bins.
Sorry, I just want to also further ask as well. As we all very well know, in certain eastern parts of our town, the problem of baboons is prevalent, and it's a matter that seems to come up every week for yourself, I'm sure. But are these bins baboon-proofed? As you know, because I know that some of the matters that one of the measures the municipality is asking residents to do is to baboon-proof their bins. So are these new bins baboon-proofed by the time they are rolled out to the residents where the problems with baboons are so prevalent?
Yeah, I know that the bin that was issued to me personally do have a lock where you can put a lock on. I just need to confirm in terms of the new bins if they are baboon proof, because that's a latch that we need to put on. But we can come back to you in terms of in writing in terms of that response to that. Thank you.
No, I'm not going to respond to you.
Christopher, you are back on your virtual side.
All right, Ms. Buzo.
For me, it's a clarity-seeking question. You say there's a buyback. I'm not following. Please, explain that to us, and also explain how many of these you'll be buying back.
The meeting of tomorrow will give us an exact clarity in terms of how many, but in terms of the current agreement with the service provider, they indicated that they will pay a percentage for us to with regards to the old bins, and we are currently in negotiations in terms of if there's any new bins that is procured more than the need in terms of buying back those bins also. So that meeting will give us clarity tomorrow.
All right, Ms. Buzo, are you happy?
Yes, I am happy. I just want to ask a question now on security. I visited the bins quite a few times because I took bad pictures. Then I went there. There was no one safeguarding the bins. They were just lying there. Why is the municipality not giving interest in securing new things that it's acquired? It's taxpayers' money that's just sitting there, and no one's looking after them.
Thank you very much.
Melanie, does anyone? As far as I know, we have security guards at most municipal properties. That would be Lurie Park and the unused facilities. Melanie, is that correct? We have security guards there?
Yes, there should be security guards at those premises. All of our main infrastructure premises, which include the majority of our halls and our sporting facilities, do have guards, but we will take that up with GAF management based on what Ms. Buzo has just informed us, that she was able to easily access the bins without being questioned. We will take it up with our service provider.
Thank you. Chris Dupe, you are muted. Chris, go ahead.
Yes, okay.
And
can you hear me? First question is, if it's that easy,
yes,
can I go and get myself one? No, I just want
just fill in the form.
Have you put it more? No, I'm just a little bit still confused because this whole thing started off when they're gonna have like fancy bins with chips and stuff, and then you could see in each household how many bins are per household and things like this. Are these the bins that are now still being stored there? The fancy electronic bins.
Can you field Chris's question? Can anybody hear me in the chambers?
It looks as if it's what do you call
frozen.
It? It's hanging frozen, yeah.
Let me just check, Chris, why there is a delay.
Can I put my hand down now?
Yes, you can put your hand down.
Okay.
Did anybody hear Chris's question there?
No, it's still frozen, Christopher.
All right, we'll just reconnect again, Chris.
No problem. It no, this, I mean, Christopher.
En dit wil die publiek daar buite waarborg. Enige vorm, wat ook al, wat die reputasie van die munisipaliteit skaad, sal aangeraak word. En daar sal aan die einde van die dag verantwoordbaarheid van ons administrasie en raadslede gehou word. So baie dankie.
What? Are we online again?
Yes, thank you.
Can you just ask Chris to please, sorry, we're not quite finished. There was a question that you must because we froze.
What was the question?
Chris to proceed to ask his question again, Melanie?
Chris?
It was still about the Wheelie.
Chris du Plessis?
Yeah.
I thought you just wanted to go and take a bin.
Yeah. No, that was.
You can ask your question, Chris.
No, I just wanted to know. I'm not. You know, when these bins were first, when they talked about rolling them out, they're going to have electronic chips and things like that, so you could see, you know, fancy new age bins. Are those the bins that are now being stored still, or are they just normal like basic bins?
The bins, all the new bins is the bins with the chips.
Yeah.
That you refer to, Chris. So if there is new bins stored, then that will be the bins with the chips.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now come to the end of our press conference. I would like to thank everyone who has logged on. I hope you are satisfied that we have given you sufficient detail on the issues that are currently being discussed. We subscribe to being open and transparent. And as the mayor has just said, he is very, very strong on that notion. Also the members in chambers, thank you for coming out. Thank you for taking the time. We've just gone over an hour, but I know that is quite a long time for you colleagues, for me as well. I usually would like to keep it in a 20-minute area, you know. So, but thank you very much for coming out. We enjoy working with you. And as I say, you know, we are always keen on supplying you with the facts as they are. Thank you very much for coming through. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Municipal Manager, and our Manager Legal Services. And then once again, thanks to you colleagues as well that have subscribed. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I thought you're going to ask me to
Great.
respond.
Get the press releases. Okay. Bye. And